City Council of the City of Conroe City will meet in a regular meeting in City Hall located 1716 West Main Street, Conroe City on Tuesday, December 15th at 6:30 p.m. If you would please stand for the invocation. This is a prayer that I found that Robert Louis Stevenson wrote, so I'd like to use that tonight. Loving Father, help us remember the birth of Jesus, that we may share in the song of the angels, the gladness of the shepherds, and the worship of the wise men. Close the door to hate and open the door of love all over the world. Let kindness come with every gift and good desires with every greed. Deliver us from evil by the blessing which Christ brings, and teach us to be merry with clear hearts. May the Christmas morning make us happy to be thy children, and Christmas evening bring us to our beds with grateful thoughts, forgiving and forgiven for Jesus' sake. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call from my left, please.
Gauss here.
Evans here. Mullins here. Rankin here.
Thank you. Ms. City Secretary, do we have any citizens' comments tonight? Thank you. I do have one comment. Let the citizens know that our Councilman Greg Aiello has resigned effective today. Greg has been an asset to our council and will continue to be an asset to our community, and we certainly wish him well. So we will be having a meeting in early January or sometime in January to replace for position number 3. Consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. City Manager report, previous meeting minutes, animal control, court report, fire, permits, inspections, and code enforcement, police and dispatch, street and park maintenance, and repairs. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as listed.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Vote from my left, please.
Gauss, yes.
Evans, yes. Mullins, yes. Rankin, yes.
New business. Discuss and/or take action to approve the COVID-19 leave policy and certification form. Mr. City Manager, if you will.
Currently, the city has an influenza leave policy, and majority of our employees in the city have less than 5 years tenure. For example, our entire police department, other than the command staff, has less than 3 years of tenure, which allows them to not accumulate much sick leave. We are adhering to CDC protocols when it comes to at-risk exposure to COVID-19. Just in the last 3 weeks, we've had 2 police officers contract COVID-19 and have to be off for an entire quarantine period. One is still currently off. And the detriment to them in having to fulfill these quarantine programs or periods is more than they can take. So what we're proposing is a COVID-19 policy that allows for city employees up to 10 calendar days off in the event that they contract COVID or are exposed to an at-risk or high-risk situation where they may be exposed to COVID and have to quarantine. This just allows them those 10 calendar days off with pay without having to exercise the use of their own personal leave time. It's extremely critical to our public safety employees who have no choice. They have to respond. They have to be in contact with the public. And in one case, for example, one of our dispatchers who was in close proximity to a police officer who tested positive, he tested negative but was still required to quarantine for 7 days as a CDC guideline. So had he not had this opportunity, and we are fulfilling that now. We have made that decision to do that. I just think it's important that council approves of that and understands the severity of that sick leave usage and how important it is for our employees to have that security in the event that they either become ill, become positive, or are involved in a high-risk situation where quarantine is necessary.
Thank you. Could I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to discuss and or take action to approve the COVID-19 leave policy and certification form.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion?
Mr. City Manager, how does this program, as it's written, differ from our influenza program that you referenced?
It's not much different at all. It's just we utilize basically the same language. We just inserted COVID-19 in place of influenza. You know, this obviously is a document, a working document. I think once vaccine becomes readily available, I mean, we reapproach. I think it might be important for employees to participate in, you know, are they vaccinated or are they not vaccinated? This does cost the city, you know, their time. They are salaried employees, some of them, or at least hourly employees. We budget for their salaries, and the majority of them are being exposed, you know, during at-work situations. And we have no way of really tracking that, but not much different. We require them to have some notification from a doctor. We're not going to just arbitrarily give the time out, but it does really give them some peace of mind. We have a lot of young employees that just have not accumulated significant leave credits to cover the amount of time necessary to be off to protect the safety of the rest of the work staff. And I think it's appropriate to give them some sense of security.
Does the time off that's allocated in this concur, you mentioned this, but I wasn't sure if you meant this or not. I'm guessing you did. Does this concur with all the CDC, I don't know what the right word is, best practices or guidelines for quarantine periods, so that we're directly in line with what the recommendation is by CDC?
Yes, and I also discussed with our public health official, Dr. Rich, as far as what his beliefs and opinions are. He's in concurrence that these guidelines, the CDC guidelines, which is 10 days quarantine with a positive test, 7 days quarantine with a negative test. He says those are directly aligned with his same directives he's given his staff at his facility.
Is there any provision for an employee who may come down with COVID, who ends up, again, God forbid, that take a turn for the worse and they're having a longer recovery time, or is that something they would have to use their personal time for at that point?
I think we'd address it at that time, provided somebody was sick and was off for an extended period. You know, there is FMLA, which is Federal Medical Leave Act. It's available to employees who have been working more than a year. It gives them up to 12 weeks could be up to unpaid pay, but it provides them with 12 weeks of protection for their position. So we would not have the opportunity, nor would we lay them off during that period. They would be protected. But I think it's in our best interest as a city to protect our employees.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Vote for my left, please.
Rogers,
Aaron, yes.
Mullins, yes.
Rankin, yes.
2B, discuss and or take action, consider terminating the street lighting agreement between the Willowwood POA and the city of Denver City due to delinquent payments. May I have a motion, please?
make a motion to discuss and or take action, consider terminating the street lighting agreement by and between the Willowwood POA and the city of Denver due to delinquent payments.
May I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Mr. City Manager.
I've had many discussions and met with Jeff Nelson, who is kind of the quasi POA president, director of the Willowwood POA. And in those, I had 3 personal meetings with him. And in those 3 meetings, he's presented me checks from his own personal checking account, the amount of $2,730. He is doing all he can as a citizen to keep the lights on in Willowwood. He just can't seem to get any support at all from the residents that live there. And as a 30-year police officer, lights are key to public safety. And it's really difficult for me personally to move forward with terminating that agreement, but this continues to become a delinquency problem, and all our other POAs in the city are fulfilling their obligations. They're providing checks to the city to cover their use of energy to provide lights for their community. And I just, at this point, we're over $6,000 in delinquent fees. And I haven't spoke with or heard from Mr. Nelson in several months. So I think it's appropriate to bring before council for you to decide whether we continue to pay that delinquency for those citizens in that community, or do we terminate those lights and turn them off?
And how much is it on a monthly basis?
Pardon me?
How much is the bill on a monthly basis?
240.64.
$6,102 in arrears. And it's about $230 a month for the use of the lights.
Council, questions?
More of a statement than a question. What I'm understanding is that they are more than just a few months behind, they're a few years behind.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That is correct.
I hate to turn off the lights as well, but this has been going on.
Mr. City Manager, do we have anything, even any crime reports or anything to suggest what the potential value is to us and the burden it would place on the city, the police department and related entities as a result of what could be looked upon as a potential increase in crime if the lights aren't on?
I think that would be purely speculation. I think the police department spends time in Willowwood, that subdivision. I'm of a belief that it's a profound difference when there's no lights. And I think those citizens in that community are gonna see a profound difference day one when they return home after a day of work and the streets aren't lit. But I think at some point that burden of responsibility has to be recognized by the citizens that live there. I couldn't tell you what the price of the increase would be, but as a 32-year police officer, I'll tell you that dark areas tend to harbor more criminal activity.
Well, I don't know if this is an appropriate place to insert this comment, but I, for one, don't want to see the crime go up, but I also know that we put something along the lines of improving security for the city of Young Girl in the voters' hands recently, and they told us without a doubt they don't really think it's important, or that we don't have the money to pay for it. I find it difficult for myself to say that we're going to split off money that's contributed by everybody who pays tax in Young Girl to pay for one community when they have the ability to pay it themselves, but won't, when the rest of the community is, again, I'm part of that community too. We all have a right to hear our voice heard. The citizens of Young Girl spoke very loudly and very clearly. They don't believe we need this. I don't want to be punitive, but I tend to agree with what they look at this point. If we had the money to pay for it, we'd probably be doing this everywhere. We don't have the money to do it everywhere. Why should we do it in this one community?
Do you know off the top of your head, how many other POAs that we get reimbursed for street lights on?
I do not know, but I believe it's 4 or 5 other communities.
At
I
least
believe it's Harbor Point, Moon Bay, Eastwood Isle. Majority of them. I think this agreement was enacted when Mr. Gary Bourne was the city manager.
So if
It's
we,
been several years.
if we went ahead and if council went ahead and continued to pay Willowwood, it would be short order before we heard from the other POAs wanting us to pay theirs as well, I believe, so.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't, but I don't know that it's common knowledge that one community is not paying.
Right. Any further questions or comments? Go from the left, please.
To be clear, the vote is to pay the bill and terminate the service, correct? Because the bill's already been paid, right?
We pay we get charged by Encore, and then we request payment from Encore. Will not bill the subdivisions. They would not work it that way. So the city has paid this. The $6,000 in arrears has already been paid by the city.
So we're effectively voting to turn off the lights.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes, sir.
That's the motion.
I vote yes, Mr. Mayor.
Evans, yes. Mullins, yes.
Rankin, yes.
Motion carries. Item 2C, discuss and or take action to remove James Cameron off the Board of Adjustments from his improved second meetings of section 8501 of the city Any further discussion? Thank you for that input, Mr. Mayor. Any further discussion?
Have you let anybody know about the ring from there? I don't know.
I'm not sure he's even capable.
Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry to hear that.
Any further discussion? Vote from my left, please.
Bill, yes.
Evans, yes.
Mullins, yes.
Reagan, yes.
Item 2B is tabled. We don't need to, vote on that because it's already covered. So,
Instead of tabling it, doesn't it have to come back up?
no,
It's resolved.
it's resolved.
Okay. That's what I was thinking of table.
Item 3A, discuss and or take action to approve the replanting of lots 6, 7, and 67 through 69 in Harbor Point subdivision belonging to Randy Garza and Tosha Marie Nix, physically located at 411 Anchor Lane to one lot, lot 6R. May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to discuss and or take action to approve replatting of lots 6, 7, and 67 through 69 in the Harbor Point subdivision along the Randy Garza and Tosha Marie Nix, physically located at 411 Anchor Lane into one lot, lot 6R.
Have a second.
Second.
Have a motion, second. Questions? Comments?
This is another one of the double frontage lots that have been coming up repeatedly, especially lately, where we're taking several lots and combining them and actually have a street frontage on 2 streets. It's still my understanding, my belief, that we have an ordinance that encourages or discourages this arrangement, but that we have also set a precedent that we have been approving these.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? Mr. City Manager, do you have anything you want to add to this?
No, Ms. Mullins is correct. This is almost identical to an issue that came up a couple council meetings ago, and it is double frontage, and it does, we do have requirements in our ordinances as far as the setback for the building on that secondary dual frontage lot, and we'll just make sure that those are adhered to as well.
My understanding is our choices per state law is that we can approve it with conditions, or, well, that's really about the only choices we have.
Or deny.
Or deny. And I don't recall who made the motion. I was wondering, Mr. Yaws, if we could put a condition on this that the 25-foot setbacks are adhered to.
I refer to the city manager, as long as that requirement fits the legal definition or the legal requirements. It does it not?
I think it does, and what it does is it brings attention to the property owner that exists. We believe it does. We believe that it is still a front yard, even though it's a double platted into one piece of property. It still has a defined yard, and that setback from that street would be 25 feet for any building.
Okay. So to be clear, the 25-foot
25-foot setback on both streets.
from both streets. Okay. Would you like to make a motion as such?
We just reread it with that condition stipulation.
Be good.
Just for information, the survey all actually lists that 25 foot.
It already shows that.
Yes,
I just would like for it to go in the record that it is a condition.
that's a really good idea.
Make a motion to continue to discuss and take action to approve the replatting of lots 6, 7, and 67 through 69 in the Harbor Point subdivision belonging to Randy Garza and Tosha Marie Nix, physically located at 411 Anchor Lane, into one lot, lot 6R, with the provision that setback of 25 feet in both streets.
And I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Vote from the left, please.
Jones, yes.
Evans, yes.
Mullins, yes.
Reagan, yes.
Item 4A, discuss and or take action to consider approving a redevelopment beautification grant to Crossroads Liquor for improvements to the building not to exceed $25,000. May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to discuss and or take action to consider approving a redevelopment beautification grant to Crossroads Liquor for improvements to the building not to exceed $25,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion is second. Discussion, questions?
I'd like to know if this was approved by the EDC board.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments?
I'm sorry, I didn't look up. Did you say yes? I wasn't looking up all of that.
Yes,
Thank you.
everything under this council is approved by the board.
Oh, I thought you said that it was, and Ms. Rankin, I apologize, I didn't hear you. I didn't realize you were asking a question, I thought you made a statement that it was.
I'd like to ask, Ms. Cooper, can you tell us anything about what the improvements, again, I've got the paper, your version of it?
Well, actually, I do have full documentation on it, but we have with us Sandy and Ray Rubio and their daughter Robin and Louis, who is actually on the council for Coughlin. And he is coordinating with the Rubios. They have several of these in Coughlin now. Would you like to ask them any questions? Is that allowed?
Council, do you have another microphone? No, you got one.
So sorry, Jim. Forgot.
Well, it's a shame you don't do your own votes, so yeah.
I'm so sorry. I should have got this right away. I do have documentation on all three projects that have been presented with. If you are interested in seeing it, the board has seen all of this. And we have with us tonight Ray and Sandy Rubio, their daughter Robin, and Louis. Tiarina, I'm sorry, yes, Louis Tiarina, thank you. He is on the Coughlin City Council, where the other three are three of the stores that the Rubios already own.
Questions, council? Concerns? Hearing none, vote for my vote, please.
Yes, yes.
Evans, no. Mullins, yes.
Rankin, yes.
Motion carries. Item 4B, discuss and/or take action to consider approving a redevelopment beautification grant to Cedar Creek Assisted Living for improvements to the building not to exceed $25,000. May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to discuss and/or take action to consider approving a redevelopment beautification grant to Cedar Creek Assisted Living for improvements to the building not to exceed $25,000.
May I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion? Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Just a quick overview of the project.
Well, it's a wonderful facility to be adding to our community. I don't know if you're familiar with what's already there, but there was one, okay, you are good. There was an assisted living facility there that has been vacant and abandoned for a long time. These people are national owners of this type of an institution, and they have 4 or 5 in Texas, in addition to ones in other states. They will have several employees, of course, that are well paid, and it's comprehensive, a full facility, and they'll have the dining room and everything, of course. And at the back, they are planning to put in a memory care center as well.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Vote for my vote, please.
Yes, yes.
Evans, yes. Mullins, yes.
Rankin, yes.
Item 4C, discuss and/or take action to consider approving a redevelopment beautification grant to Lakeside Animal Clinic for improvements to the building not to exceed $25,000. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to discuss and/or take action to consider approving a redevelopment beautification grant to Lakeside Animal Clinic for improvements to the building not to exceed $25,000.
Second.
Motion and a second. Ms. Cooper?
I'm sure. Sorry.
What are we doing here? They're already there, so what are we doing there?
Well, they are redoing their building. They want to, I think it's a nice building, but they believe it's considerably dated, and they want to upgrade their lobby and make more space, and also do create quite a different facade. And Velvet Jim, Dr. Jim, would have been here tonight, but they offered their time in food giving benefit that took place tonight.
Any questions, council? Comments? Vote on that, please.
Josh, yes.
Andrews, yes.
Mullins, yes?
Rankin, yes.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you all so much.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?